Maybe it's both. Maybe it's the way the night presses its weight onto your ribs like it's trying to keep your heart from remembering how to beat. You open your eyes. The alley is empty now. The city's breath has thinned. A gust crawls through the overturned crates beside you, stirring the stink of old cabbage, rust, and yesterday's rain. Your cardboard shelter sags inward. You rub the numbness out of your fingers, but the cold clings, stubborn as memory. You stand. Your knees protest. Your back cracks like old branches. Somewhere above the rooftops, a train moans, a long metallic cry that seems to bleed into the sky. For a second, it sounds like someone calling your name. You shake the thought off. People stopped calling your name a long time ago. You walk. Your shoes too big, the soles thinning slap against the wet pavement. Neon signs flicker, dying and reviving like exhausted fireflies. A grocer's metal shutter rattles in the wind. The street is a skeleton, empty, stripped, waiting. That's when you see it, the building. You've passed it before, an old apartment block, 5 stories tall, brick eaten by time, windows blind with dust. It shouldn't stand out, but tonight, something about it leans into you, something wordless, familiar. Wrong. A single weak bulb burns above the lower stairwell, buzzing like an irritated insect. You're turning away from it when you hear the sound. A crackle, soft but sharp enough to slice through the night. Then another, a burst of static, abrupt, like someone inhaling through broken teeth. You freeze. It's coming from inside. Your heartbeat staggers. Not fear, something older, something you don't have a name for. Your hand drifts to your chest like you're checking whether your past is still buried where you left it. Static again. Your breath becomes a fragile thing. The stairwell doorway is open, not wide, just enough to make it feel like someone slipped in and forgot to close it. Or someone slipped out. You step closer. Moist air curls up from the basement like breath from a sleeping animal. The bulb above flutters erratically. Shadows stumble over the wall like drunk silhouettes. Then you hear it for the first time. Not static, not machinery. A voice, muffled, distorted, as though dragged through metal and dust. You can't make out the words, but the tone. You know the tone. It's the tone of someone in trouble. You swallow, dry. You shouldn't go inside. People like you don't step into places like this. Not after everything. Not after the hospital, the fire, the door slamming shut behind you. Your thoughts stutter. Memory flashes like a broken bulb. You grip the railing. Something pulls you downward. Not a force, not a command. Something softer. A magnetic ache. A tug from inside your ribs. The basement door groans as you push it open. The air inside is heavy, thicker than the cold outside. Smells of mildew, forgotten laundry, and the faint sweetness of something rotting behind walls. Concrete stairs descend into a darkness so complete it feels physical. But at the bottom, a faint red glow. You blink. The glow pulses. Your breath stirs dust that swirls like ghosts waking from shallow sleep. You descend. The stairwell narrows. Pipes run overhead like exposed veins. Water plinks rhythmically into a rust-bottom bucket. Each step creaks beneath your weight. For a moment, you imagine the building sagging under the knowledge that someone has come back. But come back from where? You reach the bottom. The red glow is brighter now, steady, insistent. It comes from a corner table against the far wall, where a boxy, old-fashioned radio sits. You recognize the type late 1970s, maybe early 1980s, the kind your father kept in the garage when you were young. The one he'd smack on the side when the music went fuzzy, the one that played the weather broadcast the night everything went wrong. Your throat tightens, the radio hisses. Then, a crackling syllable claws its way out. Then another. You step closer, one cautious foot at a time. The cold floor bites through your thin shoes. Hell, low, low. The voice warped, strained, not human, yet too human. Your skin prickles. The radio's red dial light pulses faster, as if matching your heartbeat. You lean in. The static thickens, then separates. A voice forms, clearer now, shaped by desperation. Is anyone there? It feels like a hand closing around your spine. You don't speak. Your jaw moves, but no sound appears. The radio crackles violently. You need to listen. Your pulse races. You take another step. The basement seems to lean with you. The walls feel closer, the ceiling lower, the air thinner. The voice continues, breaking in and out like someone drowning beneath waves of static. They're coming! Don't let them! Sharp distortion interrupts, turning the words to shrapnel. You flinch. Then the voice returns, lower, trembling, laced with a terror that feels disturbingly familiar. Don't go upstairs! Your chest hollows out. You stagger back as if shoved by invisible hands. Your heel catches on a loose tile. Dust explodes around your feet. Your heart pounds so hard you think the radio might be sinking to it. The red dial flickers. The speaker hums like an animal waiting to attack or warn. You open your mouth. No sound escapes because something is wrong. Not with the voice's message, with the voice itself. The accent, the rasp, the subtle break on certain consonants, the way the last word trembles as if carrying guilt. You know this voice. Not from memory, from the inside. It's yours, your voice, older, exhausted, fractured by something that hasn't happened yet. You grip the table for support. Your head swims, your lungs misfire. The radio shrieks with sudden static, as if reacting to your realization. Then, silence. Your ears ring. The red dial light dims, flickers, steadies, and the voice whispers, soft but unmistakable, "Please don't let it happen again." A chill lashes across your shoulders. Again! You stand trembling, staring at the radio like it's a piece of your future left out in the open. Then, above you, a floorboard creaks. Someone is upstairs, and they're moving, not pacing, not wandering, moving with purpose, toward the basement door. You don't breathe at first. Breathing feels dangerous. Above you, the footsteps shift, weight settling onto old floorboards, wood sighing under someone who knows exactly where they want to go. Toward you, the cold basement air thickens, clinging to your skin, crawling beneath your clothes like curious fingers. The faint red glow from the radio stains the concrete, and your hands in trembling pulses of light. You take one step back. The ceiling pops, timber contracting, and then the footsteps resume. Slow, heavy, intentional. Your pulse fights to escape your chest. You look at the radio again. It sits motionless, silent now, but the last thing it said carves itself into your bones. Please don't let it happen again. Again. You don't know what again means, but the word burrows into you like something half-remembered, half-dreaded. A bruise in your memory pressing from the inside. Your eyes move to the basement door at the top of the stairs. The metal latch trembles, dust dances from the frame. The person, or the thing, stops just behind the door. A shadow slips under the crack, long, unbroken, still. You freeze. Every instinct screams at you to hide, run, disappear the way you've learned to after years on the street, folding yourself into corners, letting the world forget you exist. But something else pulls at you too, a strange stillness, a curiosity sharpened by fear. The radio gave you a warning from a voice that was you. And if you run now, you might never understand why your future self begged you not to go upstairs, why they sounded so broken, why they knew you. The shadow trembles, the latch quivers, then it clicks. Your heart tries to escape your throat, but the door doesn't open. Instead, you hear breathing, faint, measured, like someone is letting air slip through their teeth. You edge behind a support beam, pressing your shoulder into cold cement. A droplet of water plinks from a pipe above you, landing on your neck like an icy fingertip. The radio hums softly, just static, but it feels like static with intent. The breathing above the door deepens, then fades. Footsteps retreat. 1, 2, then silence. You wait. 5 breaths. 10, 20, still nothing. You exhale slowly, a breath that seems to scrape your lungs raw. The whole building settles into an eerie, complacent quiet. But something deep in you whispers, "It's still here." You step out from behind the support beam, rubbing dust from your palms. Your fingers tremble, not from fear, but from something heavier, something like recognition. You approach the radio. It sits there, ancient and stubborn, as though it has weathered storms that outlive the building around it. The metal casing is dented, the speaker mesh warped, the dial's red bulb flickers like a heartbeat missing every other beat. You reach out. Your fingertip grazes the volume knob. The radio wheezes, static fluttering like insects trapped in glass. Then a soft tone emerges. Not a voice, not a warning, just a hum, steady, gentle, unsettling in its familiarity. It's a frequency you've heard before. Long ago, your throat tightens, but this time differently. Not the clamp of fear, but the tug of memory trying to open a door you locked from the inside. A garage, a storm, your father's radio on the workbench, rain strafing the roof. And a moment, a single moment, where someone screamed your name through the static. Your breath falters. The memory is incomplete, shattered like a mirror missing half its pieces, but the feeling is the same. A warning, a plea, a voice from nowhere. You step back, pressing your palm against your forehead. The cold sweat on your skin chills instantly. Above you, a floorboard creaks again. Your eyes snap upward. The sound is farther away this time, moving toward the back of the building, away from the stairwell. You release a breath. If something was coming for you, it isn't now. Not yet. Your gaze returns to the radio. There, on the casing, brown streaks you didn't notice before. Dried, flaked, not rust. Blood. Your stomach sinks. You kneel beside it, tracing the dried stains with your eyes, not touching them. They curve downward, almost intentional, like someone dragged bloody fingers across the metal while trying to adjust the dial, or while trying to turn it off. "What happened here?" you whisper, but your voice fractures into silence. The basement lights flicker overhead, one bulb sputtering weakly. Shadows crawl across the walls in uneven patterns. You glance toward the far corner. A pile of old furniture leans against the concrete broken chairs, a collapsed dresser, a mirror whose surface is so dust-choked it barely reflects anything, except movement. You freeze. The mirror shows something behind you, a shape, tall, still, indistinct in the dust smear. Your breath stumbles. Slowly, painfully slowly, you turn your head. Nothing, just shadow, just basement, just emptiness. But the mirror shows something else. You step toward it, your reflection swims into view, gaunt, tired, eyes sunken by the streets and years you no longer measure in days. But behind your reflection, a figure flickers. The same height as you, same shoulders, same tilt of the head. You blink, and the shape dissolves. Your reflection stands alone again. Your pulse stutters like a mismatched drumbeat. You step back from the mirror. The basement feels smaller now, more watchful. A thin wind snakes down the stairwell, carrying with it a faint sound, barely a whisper. Not footsteps, not breathing, a different sound, the sound of someone crying. You look up. The voice is soft, muffled, as if trapped behind a wall or inside a memory refusing to stay buried. You take one step toward the stairs, then another. But the radio erupts. A blast of static shrieks through the basement. You stagger, clutching your ears as the noise claws at your mind. And beneath the static, beneath the distortion, a voice forces itself through. Your voice. You're not ready. Don't go upstairs. The radio gasps. Cuts out. Silence. You stand motionless. Your future self is afraid for you. The crying upstairs stops abruptly, replaced by something else. Footsteps, again, coming back toward the basement door. But this time, faster. The footsteps above you are no longer cautious. They pound. Boards groan overhead as weight crosses them with an urgency that feels wrong for a sleeping building. Dust drifts from the ceiling in trembling threads. A pipe rattles, knocking against the concrete like a nervous heartbeat. You glance at the stairwell. The door at the top is still closed, but something presses its presence through the wood. You can't see it, but you feel it. Like the way you once felt incoming mortar shells before you heard them, a pressure change in the air, the way the world held its breath an instant too long. Your palms dampen. For a moment, instinct wins. You scan the basement for places to disappear. There, a narrow gap between an old boiler tank and the wall, full of shadows and forgotten paint cans. Over there, a low shelf draped in a torn sheet, boxes beneath it sagging with whatever the past didn't bother to throw away. You take a step toward the boiler. The radio hisses. You stop! The sound isn't loud, just a small, stubborn crackle. But there's intention in it, the way there is in a cough from someone trying to get your attention without words. You turn back to it. The red dial glows faintly, an artificial ember refusing to die. Another thunder of footsteps, closer this time, right above the basement door. You have seconds! Hide! And maybe you survive the night. Stay! And maybe you understand why a future version of you is screaming through static. You stare at the door. The latch trembles. Something inside you, something old, half buried beneath years of sidewalks and shelter lines and faces that never looked you fully in the eye, pushes upward. A stubbornness you thought the streets had killed. You straighten. No, you whisper to yourself, barely audible. Not running this time. You move toward the stairs instead of away. Each step up feels like defiance. The air grows marginally warmer as you climb, but it carries with it a new scent now, faint, metallic, threaded with something sour. You stop halfway and listen. Silence. The footsteps have stopped. You're close enough to reach out and touch the underside of the door. The wood above your head is scarred with old scrapes, as if someone clawed at it once from your side, desperate to get out. Your fingers hover. The radio, far below, emits a faint sound, not static this time, 3 sharp pops, like someone tapping a finger against the casing. Tap, tap, tap. A code? A warning? A plea? You swallow hard and push the door open. The hinges complain in a long, painful squeal that makes the hair along your arms stiffen. The stairwell spills into a narrow hallway lit by a single bare bulb. Its yellow light bruises the peeling wallpaper, casting sickly shadows that don't quite match the shapes that should be making them. You step out! The door closes quietly behind you, latch clicking with a finality that feels too deliberate. The hallway is empty. To your left, a row of mailboxes clings to the wall, rust-flaked metal mouths hanging open, most of them stuffed with old flyers, some filled to bursting. A few nameplates are still legible under grime. To your right, a short corridor leads to a back exit door chained, lock corroded. Above, the staircase curls upward toward the other floors. The scent you noticed on the stairs is stronger here. Metal. Dampness. and something like burnt dust. You listen. Nothing. No breathing, no crying, no footsteps. Just a low hum of a building that should be dead but isn't. You move down the hall toward the mailboxes. One of them is different. Most doors hang ajar, but the box labeled 4B is closed. Its keyhole shines faintly, as if it's been used recently. Its metal not yet dulled by the same fatigue that's overtaken everything else. You touch it. The box is warmer than the others. You jerk your hand back. Who still lives here? You murmur. Your voice barely disturbs the air. Something brushes your ankle. You flinch back, heart leaping. A small shape darts into the shadows under the radiator. You exhale, tension loosening by a fraction. A cat. Gray, mottled with darker patches, one ear torn at the tip. Its eyes reflect the bulb's weak light like twin coins. It stares at you, unblinking, tail twitching in short, irritated flicks. "Hey," you whisper. "Didn't mean to scare you." You lower yourself slowly to one knee, joints complaining. The cat doesn't move, just watches. Its fur is ruffled, like it's been squeezing through tight spaces. Dust clings to its legs. A faint smear of something darker mars one paw. You look closer. Not dirt, not grease. Blood, fresh enough that it hasn't dried completely. Your gaze lifts to the hallway. "Where'd you come from, huh?" you ask softly. The cat glances past you, toward the basement stairwell door. Then its gaze swings to the staircase leading upstairs. It hesitates, muscles bunched, tail low. Then it decides. It turns away from the stairs and pads instead toward the end of the hall, where a maintenance door sits slightly ajar. "You hadn't noticed it before?" Paint bubbles around the frame. A sign hangs crookedly. "Electrical, storage, authorized only." The cat slips through the gap like a shadow with whiskers. Your future voice told you not to go upstairs. It said nothing about the maintenance room. You stand, legs creaking, and follow. The door resists at first, then gives with a shudder, scraping the floor. Inside, the smell changes again. Stale cardboard, old detergents, the faint ozone tang of electrical equipment that hasn't been turned on in a long time. A single fluorescent tube buzzes overhead, its light flickering in harsh, stuttering bursts. Shelves line the walls, loaded with paint cans, coils of wire, cleaning supplies, all filmed with the same dust that blankets the building. On the far side of the room, the cat sits next to a metal cabinet. It looks at you once, blinking slowly, then reaches out with its paw and scratches the bottom edge of the cabinet door. "Skak! Skak! Skak!" You stare. The cabinet is locked with a padlock that looks old but recently disturbed. The grime around it is smeared, not undisturbed like the rest of the room. You approach. "You want this open?" you ask, feeling faintly ridiculous for talking to an animal. The cat doesn't answer, just presses closer, nose almost touching the metal. You tug the padlock. To your surprise, it gives. The hasp wasn't fully engaged. Someone closed it without locking it. Your stomach knots. You unhook the lock and pull the cabinet door open. Inside, stacked haphazardly, are boxes of old building records, bundles of yellowed envelopes, coils of spare wiring, and, on the top shelf, set apart as if someone wanted it found, lies a cassette tape. No label, just a strip of cracking peeled paper where something was written once and then scraped off. You reach for it, your fingers brushing a fine film of dust. The moment you touch it, the fluorescent light flickers violently. For a second, the room plunges into darkness. In that heartbeat of black, you hear something, a whisper, close. Right behind your ear. "Don't!" The light snaps back on. You whirl around. No one is there. The cat remains, watching you, tail wrapped neatly around its paws. Your chest feels like it's been folded too tight. You look at the cassette in your hand. No label, no hint, just a rectangle that suddenly feels heavier than plastic should. You know what it is before you admit it to yourself. A recording. Of what? The radio downstairs. Your voice, or the thing that uses it. You swallow, throat dry. Above you, muffled by layers of floor, something scrapes, like furniture being dragged. A dull thud follows. Then stillness. You slip the cassette into your pocket. The cat noses your shoe lightly, then moves past you to the door, glancing back once as if to say, "We're done here." It pads into the hallway. You follow. Back in the corridor, the air feels thicker. Even the light seems dimmer, as though the bulbs have grown tired of trying. The cat trots toward the stairwell, stops at the first step, and looks up. For a moment, it seems to consider climbing. Then, every hair along its spine lifts. It hisses low, warning, and backs away from the stairs, ears flattened. Whatever is upstairs, the animal wants no part of it. The future voice told you not to go up. The cat seems to agree, but the building's secrets are layered. And the first one you can actually decode doesn't lie upstairs, it lies below, in a radio that speaks with your voice, in a cassette that might prove you're not losing your mind. You glance at the basement door. Your hand brushes the tape in your pocket, its shape an anchor against the unreality of the night. "Okay," you murmur, more to yourself than anyone else. We start with what we can control. You head back down. The cat doesn't follow. At the top of the stairs, you pause and look back. The animal sits in the hallway, eyes fixed on you. In the flickering light, its gaze seems too knowing, too resigned, like it's seen this nights before, and it already knows how it ends. You offer it a faint smile you don't really feel. "Watch my back, will you?" you say. The cat blinks slowly, then turns away, curling up by the maintenance door as if settling in for a long wait. You descend into the basement. With each step, the smell of damp concrete and mildew wraps around you. The red glow from below grows stronger, like the building's heart is beating in the dark. You reach the bottom. The radio sits where you left it, a patient relic, its ghostly light pulsing. The mirror in the far corner shows your silhouette emerging from the stairwell, warped by grime. For a second, you think you see a second figure trailing behind you in the reflection. Then dust shifts, and it's just you again. You move to the radio. Your fingers find the cassette in your pocket and pull it out. You examine the player on the radio. No evident tape deck. Of course, this unit is only a tuner. No cassette slot. You scan the room, eyes adjusting to shadow and red glow. Amid the stacked boxes, a tangle of extension cords, and coils of old hose, you finally spot it on a side table, a portable cassette player. Plastic yellowed with age, dust collected in its grooves. A thin wire trails from it, unplugged, like a vein torn from the wall. You pick it up. The eject button sticks, then snaps free with a reluctant click. The compartment is empty. Your hand shakes slightly as you slide the mysterious tape inside. You connect the player to an outlet via a loose extension cord. The plug sits half buried in a nest of dust bunnies. When you push it in, a small blue spark jumps, making you flinch. The radio beside you crackles like it's reacting. You press play. At first, there is only hiss, a low, endless ocean of noise. Then, under it, something rises, a hum, a tone, the same frequency that tugged at your buried memories upstairs. Your skin prickles, the hum wavers, shapes itself, breaks into fragmented rhythm. Then you hear breathing. You're breathing. Not the way you do it now, slower, worn down, but sharper, ragged, punctuated by something wet, like someone speaking between bruises. A voice speaks, your voice. "I don't know how much time I've got. If you're hearing this, it means I failed. Again." The radio's red dial flares brighter, as if the words stoke it. You stare at the cassette player, throat thick with the taste of copper. On the recording, your future self takes a shuddering breath. You're downstairs. Good. Listen to me. You think the danger is up there, but it starts down here. It always starts down here. Something scrapes just beyond the edge of the basement's darkness. Not upstairs, not in the hall, in the room with you. The scrape in the dark is soft at first, the kind of sound you can mistake for settling pipes or the shifting of an old building's spine. But then it comes again, closer. A clean, deliberate drag across concrete. Your breath seizes mid-chest. Not the choking freeze of fear, something sharper, like your lungs have been threaded with wire. The cassette keeps playing. You won't see it at first, your future voice rasps. You'll think it's part of the building. That's how it works. That's how it hides. You don't dare turn around. Not yet. Your eyes stay glued to the tape player, to the tiny spinning wheels inside the cassette, to the faint warble in your own recorded voice. A second scrape skitters across the far corner of the basement. You swallow, throat thick with the scent of dust and something else, a faint sweetness you didn't notice before, almost floral. Strange in a place like this. The radio beside you crackles, as if offended by the competing sound. Your recorded voice continues. Don't trust shadows. Don't trust empty corners. If you feel it before you see it, run. Your heartbeat buckles. You feel it now. A soft pressure, as if the air behind you is shifting, gathering itself. You force yourself to turn, slowly. The basement swims in red pulses from the radio. Boxes, pipes, broken furniture, the mirror with its coat of grime, all flicker through light and shadow. At first, nothing seems wrong. But then, on the far wall, beneath the ceiling pipes, a shape clings where no shape should be. Low to the ground, flattened, almost part of the wall. A smear of darkness that the light tries to avoid. You blink. It shifts. Just a breath. A ripple along its edge, like ink disturbed in water. Your pulse slams through your ribs. The cassette hisses with static and breath. You're seeing it now. Good. Don't look away yet. The shape lifts. Not fully, just enough to curve outward, breaking from the wall like something stretching after a long sleep. A limb unfolds. Or what might be a limb? It isn't shaped like anything you know, jointed wrong, bent where it shouldn't bend. The air in the basement folds inward, as if the creature's movement creates its own gravity. You stumble back, hitting the table with the radio. The red dial flares, bright as a wound. The creature retracts, a sudden fluid contraction, as though the light burns it. Your hand finds the dial instinctively and cranks it up. The radio blares static, a violent roar that ricochets off the concrete. The darkness recoils sharply, flattening again, hugging the wall like a stain threatening to peel away. Your voice on the tape catches. Yeah, that part doesn't change. Light hurts it, sound confuses it, but it learns. Every time, it learns. Every time. You try to steady your breathing. W. What do I do? You whisper, as if the recording hears you. Your future voice continues. You move before it does. You get upstairs, but only when the hallway is safe. Safe? You almost laugh. Nothing in this place feels safe. The mirror in the corner shifts the red glow across its cracked surface. You glance toward it and nearly freeze again. In the reflection, the creature is larger, taller, standing upright behind you, even though when you turn your head, the wall shows only darkness again. The mirror sees more than reality allows. Your stomach drops. The cassette clicks softly, a small mechanical sigh, and the recording continues. You'll want answers. Don't chase answers yet. Chase survival. Start with the 4th floor, apartment 4B. There's something there we always forget. Always. You grab the cassette player, hands shaking, pulse hammering at your wrist like a frantic animal in a cage. The creature shifts again, this time toward you. Not fast, not lunging, worse, sliding. A slow, predatory glide across the wall, as if deciding how best to corner you. Your instincts ignite. You bolt for the stairs. The moment you move, the creature reacts. A sound like creaking wood and tearing fabric rips through the dark as it peels from the wall. You don't look back. You sprint up the stairs, 2 at a time, knees screaming, lungs ablaze. Halfway up, the air behind you ripples with motion, a cold gust that smells of damp earth and dying flowers. You reach the top landing. Your hand slams the basement door shut. A heavy thud hits the other side. Dust falls from the ceiling. You grip the doorframe with both hands, waiting to feel claws or limbs or whatever it uses press against the wood. Nothing comes. Just slow scraping, as though the creature is dragging one impossibly long limb along the door, memorizing its structure. You stagger back. Your breath burns. The cassette player dangles from your hand. Then the upstairs hallway lights flicker. Once, twice, a long, nauseating dim and stabilize. You're alone in the corridor. Or you tell yourself you are. A soft meow echoes faintly from down the hall. You turn. The cat sits halfway between you and the mailboxes, tail curled around its paws, eyes too calm for what you just ran from. It blinks once, then looks meaningfully toward the staircase leading to the higher floors. As if telling you, it's time, go to 4B. Your hand tightens around the cassette player. You force your legs to move. The building feels different now. Not abandoned, not forgotten. Awake, listening. Your footsteps echo as you climb to the 2nd floor. Each step whines under your weight. Every landing brings a new shift in air pressure, a subtle warmth followed by cold, as if you're passing through invisible layers of memory. Halfway to the 3rd floor, a faint vibration hums under your shoe. You pause. It's rhythmic, mechanical, old, like the sound of a radio on a different floor. Your skin prickles. You ascend faster. By the time you reach the 4th floor landing, your breath is sharp and uneven. The hallway stretches before you, longer than it should be, walls leaning inward slightly, as if the building is exhaling in one slow, tired sigh. You count the doors, 4A, 4C, 4D. But where is? You turn left. There, 4B. Its door stands closed, a tarnished brass number hanging crookedly, as though someone tore it halfway off and gave up. But there's something else. A dim red glow seeps from the gap beneath the door. Not the warm yellow of hallway bulbs, not the sickly white of failing fluorescence. Red, radio red, your pulse stutters. You approach the door, your shoes quiet on the thinning carpet. Each step feels like stepping deeper into your own unfinished memory. Your fingers hover over the doorknob. Cold, too cold. You swallow. Your voice on the cassette said, 4B holds something you always forget. Your future self begged you not to repeat a mistake. Whatever waits inside, it has been waiting a long time. You turn the knob. The latch clicks softly. The door opens just an inch, enough for the smell to escape. Dust, metal, and something faintly electric like burnt circuitry. Inside the darkness, something glows faint red. Not a radio this time, something larger, a shape you can't make out yet, but it pulses slowly like a dying heartbeat. You push the door open and step in. The door to 4B groans as it swings inward, its hinges releasing a long, broken sigh like the room itself has been holding its breath for years and finally exhales at your arrival. You step inside. The first thing you feel isn't fear, it's heat, a subtle radiating warmth that contradicts the cold hallway you just left. It rolls out in gentle waves, brushing your face, carrying a dry, metallic scent. Old wires, sunburnt dust, and something faintly sweet, the same scent you noticed in the basement when the creature stirred. Your chest tightens. The room is dark except for the red glow in the center. Not a lamp, not a radio, a machine, small, box-like. Wires spread from it across the floor like roots searching for soil. It hums with a tired pulse, a heartbeat on the edge of giving out but refusing surrender. The carpet beneath it is flattened in a circular imprint, as though something heavier once sat in its place. You take a step closer! The door falls shut behind you. You whirl, expecting an intruder, but no one stands there. Just the door, closing with slow, deliberate gravity. Your pulse jumps, but the room remains still. The red glow beckons. Your fingers hover over the machine. Its casing is warm, warmer than anything in this frozen building has the right to be. On the surface, half buried under dust, lies a photograph. You pick it up. Your breath lodges in your throat. It is a picture of you, not now. Younger, face fuller, eyes sharper, standing beside someone whose presence punches air right out of your lungs, your father. He stands with one hand on your shoulder, laughing, mouth open, eyes bright with a joy you haven't seen in years because you haven't seen him in years. Not since. Your memory fractures like cracked ice. The storm, the garage, the scream through the radio. Your shoulders slump as the past presses against you like a hand between your shoulder blades, urging you forward. You turn the photograph over. On the back, in faint, shaky handwriting, if you hear the voice, don't believe everything it tells you. Your stomach drops. Which voice? The creature's, your future selves, or both? The machine hums louder as if responding to your confusion. You crouch and examine it more closely. It's a radio transmitter, but modified. Panels removed, copper wiring exposed, dial markings scratched off like someone tried to erase the concept of frequency itself. Next to it lies a journal, its leather cover warped by time. You open it. Inside, page after page of frantic writing. Circles around certain numbers, sketches of the building's layout, drawings of the creature shaped like living shadows. Then more writing, words underlined until the pen tore through paper. IT doesn't come for you. It comes from you. Your hands go cold. Before you can breathe, another line catches your eye. The first time I heard the warning, I didn't understand what it meant. The second time, I didn't survive long enough to use it. Your heart stumbles. The journal isn't written by a stranger. It's written by you. Another loop, another timeline, another version, a version that died. Your mouth goes dry. You flip to the last written page. When the creature forms fully, it remembers the shape of your fear. A chill spiders through your veins. In the basement, it mimicked the way you leaned, the length of your shadow, your own outline in the mirror. The creature isn't hunting you. It's becoming you. A faint sound snaps you from your thoughts. A footstep, but softer this time. Not above you, not below. Inside the apartment, you rise slowly, spine stiffening. Who's there? Your voice tears slightly at the edges. No answer. You move forward, peering into the gloom. The apartment appears abandoned, brown carpet worn to threads, furniture pushed against the walls, curtains hanging limp from a broken rod. But then you see it. By the far window, barely visible in the pulsing red glow, someone stands. A silhouette, same height as you, same posture, head bowed, shoulders drawn. Your heart knocks against your ribs. You know that shape, because every morning in broken storefront reflections and dark puddles, you see it. You whisper, "Is that me?" The figure lifts its head. Your breath leaves you. It isn't exactly you, not fully. The shape is off, distorted at the edges, as if your outline is being redrawn by someone with a shaking hand. It tilts its head in a way you have never tilted yours. A slow, curious angle, like an animal studying its reflection for the first time. Then it steps forward, but its body doesn't move the way a body should. The limbs shift too smoothly, bending with silent elasticity, as if both too flexible and too rigid at the same time. Your instincts scream, not human, not you, not anymore. The creature's imitation is growing stronger. You stumble back, hand finding the wall. The machine pulses, harder, faster. Your future voice suddenly erupts from the cassette still dangling in your grip. Don't let it touch you! The creature freezes mid-step, its head twists, not turning but shifting, like its face slides beneath its skin. It listens, not to you, to the recording. A new revelation slams into you. The creature recognizes your future voice. Maybe it remembers the loop. Maybe it remembers killing that version of you. Your recorded voice lowers, strained. You don't have long. It's learning faster this time, too fast. The creature twitches violently, its silhouette collapsing inward for a moment like a folding curtain. Then, it surges toward you. You bolt. You don't think. You don't plan. Instinct shoves you toward the doorway. The machine's red glow blazes behind you as though awakened. The creature's limbs scrape the floor, sharp, wrong angles digging into carpet, sending fibers flying. You dive through the door, slam it shut, and feel an impact slam against the other side. The door shudders under a weight that shouldn't exist. You stumble back as the wood bows inward. It's stronger than before. Your future voice wasn't kidding. This loop, this timeline, the creature is evolving faster. You sprint toward the stairs. As you reach the landing, you feel it, an electric prickle running up your spine. Someone or something is watching from above, and from below, you are trapped between two dangers. Your breath fractures. You grip the railing. The building hums around you, alive with memory and threat. Your future self warned you, survival first, answers later. You don't get to choose upstairs or downstairs anymore, because from the darkness at the top of the stairwell, a soft voice, your own, whispers, "Why did you come back?" The question hangs in the stairwell like smoke. Why did you come back? It's your voice. Not the distorted tone from the radio, not the ragged rasp of the cassette. Clear, close, human. You grip the railing so hard your knuckles scream. The metal feels icy under your skin, as if the building's veins are full of winter. You lift your head. At the top of the next flight, a figure stands in the dimness, hunched, thin, shoulders bowed under weight that isn't physical. You squint. For a moment, the shadows shift, and the face becomes visible. Your heart misfires. It's you. Older, but not by much. Deep grooves run from nose to mouth, carved by effort, not time. One eye is ringed in purple and yellow, an old bruise that never fully healed. A faint, jagged scar splits your lower lip. You know that scar. You got it in a shelter fight over a blanket 2 winters ago. Except, you don't have it now. The other you watches you from the top of the stairs. Same jacket, same boots, same cheap frayed scarf you're wearing around your neck. Like a reflection from a future mirror that cracked and never got replaced. Your mouth dries. "Who are you?" you manage, voice scraped raw. The other, you smiles without any humor. "You know who I am," they say. You're the version that still thinks this is the first time. The words fold the air inside your lungs. You stare at them, mind stuttering. "The first time!" They nod once. Below you, from the closed basement door, a slow, deliberate scrape answers, like the creature is dragging its limb along the wood in appreciation of the phrase. You flinch, but the other you doesn't. They stand steady, one hand resting lightly on the railing, as if they've done this before. Many times. "How many?" you whisper. "How many times have I died here?" They finish. Your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth. They tilt their head, considering. "Enough that I stop counting." Not enough to fix it. A tremor ripples across your shoulders, a shiver born of something deeper than cold. How am I talking to you? They shrug, a small, exhausted movement. "The building is good at keeping what it likes," they say. "Memories, warnings, versions. We're not the first." "We won't be the last, unless..." They break off, eyes narrowing as they look past you, toward the shut basement door. "You woke it earlier this time," they murmur. "That's new." Your grip tightens around the cassette player in your hand. The plastic casing squeaks in protest. "That thing," you say, voice low. "The shadow downstairs. The thing in 4B. What is it?" Their gaze returns to you. For a moment, there's pity there. Or maybe it's just recognition. It's what happens, they answer, when you don't face what you did and what was done to you. It's every time you ran, given shape. It learns the shape of your fear, then it wears it. Your stomach twists. Bits of memories swim up, fragments pressing against your skull, rain hammering on a corrugated roof. Your father's voice yelling over a crackling radio. A flash of light. Screams, then silence. "I didn't," you say, voice thinning. "I don't remember." Their jaw clenches. "You remember enough to come back." The stairwell seems to tilt. You steady yourself, fingertips biting into the rough paint on the wall. Somewhere down the hallway below, a soft sound floats up, a faint meow. "The cat." You glance down. From the floor beneath, you see its tail flick once at the edge of view, a flash of gray against the dull carpet. It hasn't left. It's still here, hovering near you like a living question mark. The other you notices. "Good," they mutter. "You've still got it watching you. Sometimes it doesn't show up. Those runs never last long. Those runs you swallow." "Why? Why did you record the tape?" you ask. "Why tell me not to go upstairs and then tell me to come to 4B? A shadow moves behind their eyes. "I was wrong," they say simply. "The first time, I thought the danger was only above. The second time, I thought it was only below. The third time, I realized the danger is wherever you refuse to look." They smile again, thin and humorless. "The machine in 4B, the journal, the note on the back of the photo. You left those for yourself too. Different tries, different strategies, none of them worked." You feel suddenly suspended, caught between then and now, as though the air itself has turned into a web woven out of your own attempts. "If nothing works," you ask quietly, "why keep trying?" They look at you with something like anger, but not at you, at themselves. At first, because I was scared, they say. Then, because I was guilty. Now, they shrug, shoulders heavy. Now I think it's because the building won't let go of us, or because something outside of it still cares whether we fix this. A flicker of your father's face flashes behind your eyes, uninvited, his hand on your shoulder. The photo in 4B. The message. Don't believe everything it tells you. You lick your lips. What did I do? You ask. What was the first mistake? They hesitate. For the first time, they look almost afraid. You're not ready, they say quietly. You think you want the truth, but every timeline where I dumped it on us too early ended fast. Your jaw tightens. So what do I do? Below, on the far side of the basement door, the slow scrape stops. For a second, the silence is absolute. Then you hear it, a soft tap, 3 beats. Tap, tap, tap. The same rhythm the radio made. The same rhythm the cat's paw scratched on the cabinet. The building is learning your patterns and sending them back to you. Your skin crawls. The other you leans forward slightly. You can't fight it, they say. We tried. We brought weapons. We tried traps. We tried burning parts of the building. It always resets, always rebuilds us. Red glows faintly from under the 4B door behind you, as though listening, as though offended. Then what, you ask? Their reply is barely more than a breath. You have to let it finish copying you. Ice shoots down your spine. What? They nod, bitter acceptance written in the lines of their face. It wants a complete version, they say. Right now it's glitching. Half-formed. That's why you catch it in reflections. That's why it flickers between floors. It only gets this far when you run, when you resist, when you cling to your gaps. They descend 1 step. The old wood sighs beneath their foot. Every time you fight, it feeds on that. On the battle, on the scramble. It makes it stronger. Makes it more like the worst of you. You shake your head, emotion too quick, almost panicked. You want me to just stand there and let it turn into me? I want you to stop making it out of fear, they snap. Then their voice softens. You know it's not just a monster. You think of the shape in the basement peeling off the wall, the distorted silhouette in 4B mimicking how you stand, the mirror catching hints of a taller, more complete figure. You don't understand, you mutter. If I let it finish, there'll be 2 of me, or none of me. They study you with a long, measuring look. You're not supposed to survive this place as you are, they say quietly. You're supposed to change. That thing is everything you never forgave yourself for, every time you left someone behind. Every night you decided not to go back and check if they were still breathing. Every time you pretended the storm wasn't your fault. Your lungs forget what to do. The storm, you say, the word tasting like rust. The garage, the radio. My father, he called me. Didn't he? Memory cracks open, sudden and blinding. You were young. The rain hammered above. You were supposed to hit a switch. You were supposed to answer the shout through the static. But you froze. You ran. You hid. And the silence that followed hung over your life like an unfinished sentence. The other you watches the realization bleed across your face. There it is, they murmur. That's where it always starts. Your legs feel weak. You slump against the wall, palm flattening on chipped paint. I killed him, you whisper, barely audible. They shake their head sharply. No, they say. You froze. Mistakes aren't the same as murder. The problem isn't what happened. It's what you did with it. You never let yourself grieve. You turned it into a monster and built yourself a prison to match. Your mind skids. This building, you say. This place. It's an echo, they reply. Every old hallway you avoided. Every door you didn't open. Every station you passed, sleeping on benches while the PA whispered names you pretended weren't yours. As if responding to that, somewhere above, a loudspeaker crackles weakly. Not real, just phantom sound. A distant echo of boarding calls from long-closed stations. You, close your eyes. The weight of it all presses down, heavy as an avalanche, filled with every decision you wish had gone a different way. How many times did you tell me this? You ask faintly. They smile without mirth. Enough that I started to sound like the creature to you, they say. Just another voice in the dark telling you what to do. They descend another step, now halfway between floors. I can't push you through this, they say. I can only tell you what I learned before it tore me apart last time. You force your eyes open. What did you learn, you ask? They meet your gaze. That the building doesn't want your death, they say. It wants your decision. It wants you to stop running in circles. To choose whether you'll be defined by what you lost or by what you do with the loss. Your hand brushes against the cassette player at your side. It hums faintly under your touch, tape still spooling inside, your own recorded voice trapped in plastic. And the creature? You ask. What does it want? Their answer comes without hesitation. To stop being alone, they say. to stop being just the worst parts. It wants your forgiveness as much as you do. You laugh, but it comes out cracked. You're asking me to forgive a thing that's tried to kill me in a dozen timelines? I'm asking you, they reply, voice soft but steady, to forgive yourself. A cold silence spreads in the stairwell, moving faster than the draft slipping under the basement door. You stare at them, at your scarred future face, at the bruised eye, at the memories of countless deaths you haven't yet lived. This is the darkest part, they say quietly. This is where you always decide it's easier to fight than to feel. You run back downstairs. You crank the radio. You try to drown it in noise. You make it angrier, bigger, more like you at your worst. And then they trail off. You don't ask them how it ends. You already know. Then what should I do? You whisper. They take one more step down. Face it, they say simply. The basement door shudders. A long, vertical seam appears in the center of the wood. Not a crack, a shadow with edges, as if something is pressing its way through without bothering to use the frame. You can smell it now. That faint, cloying sweetness, like flowers left too long in water. The cat appears at the landing below, body low, ears flattened. It looks up at you, then at the door, then back at you, waiting. Your future self straightens, eyes going distant, as if listening to something only they can hear. It's further along than last time, they murmur. We don't usually get this much cooperation. From what, you ask? Their gaze drops to the cat. From the parts of you that still care whether you survive, they say. The seam in the basement door widens. A black-gray limb squeezes slowly through, stretching like liquid shadow, curling against the hallway floor. You instinctively back away up the stairs. Remember, your future self says. Sound confuses it. Light hurts it. But that only buys you time. It doesn't fix anything. It just delays the choice. You clutch the cassette player and the railing at the same time, torn between flight and the numb plunge into something far worse than death. What if I can't do it? You ask, voice shaking. What if I can't forgive myself? Your future self's expression softens in a way you didn't know your own face could. Then, they say, you'll wake up here again, in some alley, on some night, in some version of this building, chasing the same voice through the static. They step aside, granting you a clear path either up or down. Either way, they add, you're the one who decides which way the loop closes. The limb from the basement door touches the carpet. The fibers around it blacken, then slowly regain color, as if the creature is testing reality, learning texture, learning weight. The cat hisses softly, fur bristling, but doesn't run. You stand on the stairway between floors, heart pounding, body tired to the marrow. Basement below, creature rising, future self above, machine humming, journal waiting, father's photo, a life you abandoned, a life that hasn't let go of you. You inhale, air sharp and thin, and then the cassette in your hand clicks. Recording auto rewinds to the end of its tape. Your own voice, distorted by wear, whispers one last sentence. You don't remember recording. This is the part where you finally choose. The basement door splinters. The creature begins to pull itself into the hallway. The creature prees itself through the broken basement door with a slow, sickening grace, as though the hallway is a sleeve it's pulling up onto its arm. You can't look away. Not because you're brave, not because you're ready, because the sight traps you. A visual gravity pulling your gaze toward everything you spent years refusing to face. The limb slides outward first, its surface shifting like a blend of smoke and flesh, neither solid nor fluid, as though it's thinking its body into existence 1 inch at a time. Your knees nearly buckle. Behind you, your future self watches with grim resignation, hands loose at their sides, as if they've seen this exact moment replay hundreds of times. The cat hovers halfway between you and the creature, hackles raised, ears flattened, a trembling sentinel. As the second limb emerges, you hear it, a faint tearing sound, like memory being ripped open. Then the creature's head appears. Not fully formed, just an outline, a soft suggestion of shape, a jawline that flickers in and out, a hollow where eyes could be, a slanted tilt of the skull that feels disturbingly familiar. Your breath fractures mid-inhale. It's using your structure, your height, your frame, extrapolated into something darker, the silhouette of a nightmare that borrowed your bones and redrew them with grief. Your future self murmurs behind you, it'll let you run. It likes you running. Running feeds it. As if to prove the point, the creature lifts its head, that half-shaped imitation of your own, and exhales a low, vibrating hum that makes the hallway walls tremble. That hum is your fear made audible. You try to swallow. Your throat refuses. The creature pulls its torso forward, and the carpet beneath it bruises from color to shadow, darkening under its weight. When it lifts a limb, the color slowly returns. Corruption, but not permanent. Not yet. You step backward up the stairs. 1 step. 2. Your future self stays still. "You can't outrun this," they say softly. Your voice shakes. "Then what? What am I supposed to do?" Their reply comes with no softness. "Decide whether you're done being afraid." The creature lifts its head fully now. And for the first time, for a single horrifying moment, it meets your eyes. It doesn't have eyes. It has impressions, indentations where eyes should be, hollows carved from absence. But somehow you feel it staring, searching, matching. The creature breathes in, a shuddering inhale through a mouth that isn't quite a mouth, and your lungs mirror it in spite of yourself, as if the creature is setting the rhythm and your body is obeying the conductor. Your future self grips the railing. Don't sync with it. That's how it takes more of you. You snap your breath away from its rhythm, gasping too fast, lungs stuttering. The creature reacts instantly, a fast, twitching jerk of its head, like a glitch in a looping video. The cat darts back, yowling sharply. A shadow extends across the floor toward you, elongating with impossible reach. You lurch another step up, but your future self catches your arm, fingers clamping hard. "If you go upstairs now," they warn, "it follows." And upstairs it gets smarter. "What's up there?" you whisper. Their eyes darken. Another version of you who still thinks they can fight this with force? A cold shudder crawls along your ribs. "How many versions are in this building?" you ask. Your future self's silence is the only answer you need. You stare down the stairs. The creature has almost fully entered the hallway now. Its torso warped and too long, its shoulders concave and sloping, its stance eerily similar to the one you use when you're cold, when you're hungry, when the world sees you, but doesn't see you. It keeps copying not your shape, your sorrow. It shifts one limb forward, touching the bottom stair. Wood sinks inward under its weight, not breaking, bending, like time itself is softening for it. You grip the railing. "I can't face that," you breathe. "You already survived it once," your future self replies quietly. "You lived through what made it. This," they nod toward the creature, "is just the shadow you left behind." The creature's head tilts again. This time, it mirrors your exact tilt. A perfect mimicry, so precise it steals heat from your skin. Your pulse stumbles. You feel something breaking loose inside you. Some internal lock you welded shut years ago. The creature senses it. It surges forward. You leap 2 stairs up. Your future self yanks you back by the jacket before you fall. "Not yet," they bark. Don't run unless you mean it. What does that even? Fear running feeds it. Purpose running weakens it. You have to choose which one you're doing. Your breast shatters. Below you, the creature unfurls upward, its height stretching, bones forming where none existed, ribs knitting from strands of dark as though memory is giving it anatomy. A sound rises from deep inside it. Not a growl, not a scream. A sob, a broken human sob that burrows under your ribs. You stagger. Your future self's expression cracks. "It remembers everything," they whisper. "Everything. Your father's scream, your own freezing panic, the years of silence afterward. The slow decay of your life as you shrank yourself smaller and smaller until the world could step over you without seeing you." The creature sobs again, higher pitched now, shifting into a strangled noise of someone trying to speak but not knowing what a voice is. Your chest constricts. "It's trying to talk," you whisper. The other you nods grimly. "You didn't give it a voice last time." You drowned it out with noise, the radio, the tapes, anything to not hear what it wanted. You stare down at the creature, at its trembling limbs, at the hollow impressions where eyes should be, at the fractured reflection of your own suffering shaped into something alive. Your hand trembles violently. "Why is it crying?" you ask. Your future self's reply is barely a breath. "Because you won't." Something inside you buckles. The creature takes advantage. It lunges upward, not fully, not violently, but enough to reach the 3rd stair. Close, too close. You fall backward, hitting the landing hard. The cassette player clatters beside you. Your future self crouches down, their face inches from yours. "This is where we always lose," they say. You resist its pull, then you panic, then you run. You feed it the ending it wants. "What ending is that?" you rasp. "The one where you never forgive yourself." Tears sting your eyes, unexpected, unwanted. You blink them back. A lifetime of holding everything in doesn't break easily. But the creature raises its head, and in that hollowed-out non-face you see an echo of the guilt that lives behind your ribs. And something changes, not in the creature, in you. Your lungs loosen. Not much, just enough to let a new kind of air in, a breath not made of panic. Your future self sees it. "There," they whisper, "right there." That's where the path splits. Below, the creature stills, its limbs lower slightly, as if confused by the shift in the air. You push yourself upright. Your future self steps aside, not guiding, not protecting, allowing. The cat pads up 2 steps and sits, tail curled neatly, watching you with unblinking patience. The creature stays frozen below, half screaming, half learning, its form flickering between shadow and shape. You take a breath, a true one, steady and deliberate. Then you take a step downward. Your future self exhales softly behind you. The creature shivers as you approach. Not in anticipation of the hunt, but in the trembling way someone flinches when expecting to be struck. Your foot touches the stair below. Your heart pounds like it's trying to punch its way out of your ribs. You force another breath. The creature lifts its head, not to attack, to listen. And as you descend one more step, the creature emits a sound so faint you almost miss it. A word, barely formed, broken, made of air and apology. "Sorry, your knees weaken." The cat meows, soft, approving. "Ah." Your future self places a hand over their mouth, eyes shining with something like awe. You step closer. The creature trembles harder, limbs shaking, surface flickering with unstable shape, as if part of it wants to solidify and part of it wants to disappear entirely. You are now just 4 steps above it, close enough to see your own silhouette outline forming within its shadowed mass. It is crying, and for the first time you feel the truth without needing the journal or the machine or the recording or the future version of you. This thing was never trying to kill you, it was trying to finish you, make you whole by taking the pieces you refuse to hold. Your breath trembles, and finally, after years of concrete shelters, alleyways, nights that pressed you flat, and guilt that outlived everything you loved, a single tear slides down your cheek. The creature recognizes it instantly. It freezes. Its limbs curl inward. Its height shrinks. The hollow eye shapes widen. It whispers again, clearer this time. "Don't cry! Your heart breaks!" Your heart breaks. You take another step down. And as you do, behind you, your future self whispers, "This is it! This is where the loop finally cracks!" The creature reaches one trembling limb toward you. Darkness swallows everything. Not the simple absence of light, but a dense, pressurized dark that feels like the building itself has inhaled and forgotten how to exhale. For an instant, you don't know if your eyes are open or closed. You reach for the railing. Nothing. You reach for the stair beneath your feet. Nothing. The world has no edges. Behind you, your future self whispers sharply, "Stay still!" But you can't tell where the voice comes from. Above, below, beside. It folds around you, echoing inside the dark. Below you, the creature releases a strained whimper. A warped, fractured sound that feels wrongly tender for something shaped out of shadow and grief. The cat meows somewhere to your left, its voice tiny in the cavernous black, a flick of brightness in the void. You reach toward the creature or where it was, but your fingers close on nothing. Darkness has stolen distance. Then a click snaps through the air. Not the light, not the machine, a tape mechanism. Your cassette player, still in your hand, forces itself awake. The tape begins to play. Your future voice emerges into the dark. Good. The blackout means the building is letting go. You're close, but listen carefully. This is where the truth comes. Your breath stumbles. The blackout isn't a failure. It's a transition. The creature shifts. You hear it, a soft trembling against concrete, but it doesn't move toward you this time. It waits. Your future voice continues. You think this place is a prison? It isn't. It's a memory. Your memory. Every version of you ends up here because you refuse to let the memory complete itself. Your pulse stalls. The blackout hums, a soft vibration in the air like static woven into oxygen. Your future voice grows clearer. Go back to the beginning, not the building, not the basement, the moment you never faced. A cold gust slips across your skin, and suddenly you're somewhere else, not physically. The staircase is still beneath you, the creature somewhere ahead, your future self somewhere behind. But layered over the dark, like film projected onto night, a memory flickers. Rain hammering, roof trembling. The garage. You're small, a kid, barely able to reach the workbench. Your father's voice shouts over the storm, "Stay there, don't touch anything yet." Lightning ruptures the sky. Static screams through the radio beside you. Then, "Son," your father calls. A note of fear cracks his voice. "Son, answer me." You don't. You freeze. Not because you're weak, but because kids freeze. Because the world is too big and storms are too loud and your father's fear felt like your fault. You see yourself crouching behind an overturned bucket, hands clamped over your ears. You see your father slipping on the wet concrete trying to reach the breaker switch. You see the flash, too bright, too close, and then the memory tilts, blurs, fractures. You stumble in the dark. Your future self's voice cuts in. Every timeline ends here because you keep stopping the memory at the moment of pain. You don't let it finish. Your breathing trembles violently. A second image pushes through the dark. Not lightning, not fire. Your father coughing on the ground, reaching for you. Alive, alive, not dead as you believed. You fall to your knees. What? Your voice breaks. What happened? Did I kill him? Did I leave him? The tape crackles. Your future voice softens. You ran, yes, but he didn't die there. You press your palms to the invisible floor, body shaking. He got back up, the voice continues. He called for help. He survived the storm. Your heart stops, but you, the voice adds, pain threading through every word. You never forgave yourself for freezing. You never let yourself believe you deserve to know the truth. The darkness shimmers, the creature hums a trembling resonance, as if it knows the truth belongs to it too. A new memory bleeds through. Your father, older now, sitting in a hospital bed, radio on the table beside him. He's talking to someone, the nurse maybe. Wish he'd come find me, your father says. I wish he knew it wasn't his fault. Your breath collapses in your chest. Your father didn't abandon you. You abandoned yourself. A sound rises in front of you, soft, shaky. The creature, it reaches out again, not lunging, not hunting, just offering a limb, unsteady, as fragile as your own forgiveness. Your future self speaks softly behind you. This thing isn't your monster. It's the part of you that stayed behind when you ran, the fear you never comforted, the child you left in the garage. Your chest caves inward. And now? You whisper. The creature tries to form a face. Yours? But the attempt flickers, shivers, breaks. Then it speaks, voice scraped raw. Don't leave me. Your heart splits open. The blackout vibrates harder, cracking around the edges, as if light wants to return but needs your permission. The cat meows, a clear, ringing sound, and pads a few steps toward the creature, sitting beside it like a guardian. Your future self whispers, this is it, the truth you were meant to discover. The loop ends when you stop running and bring that part of you with you. Your throat tightens with something deeper than dread, recognition. You reach forward, hands trembling toward the creature's outstretched limb. The blackout thins, a faint gray forming at its edges, light preparing to return. Your fingers touch shadow, warm, alive. The creature shudders. Its form stabilizes. Not fully, not perfectly, but enough to stop flickering, enough to hold shape, enough to be. The blackout cracks open, a thin line of white light slicing the dark and floods the stairwell with blinding brightness. Your future self shields their eyes. The creature lowers its head. The cat presses closer to it. And you, for the first time, do not step back. You whisper, trembling, I won't leave you again. The creature exhales, a soft, broken sound, and the entire building breathes with it. Walls groan, floors settle. The radio in the basement blares one clear tone. The machine in 4B hums like a heartbeat finding rhythm. The loop is cracking. Finally, light returns in a rush. Not gently, like a curtain yanked back too fast, letting in more day than your eyes know what to do with. You squint, lids slamming half shut. Shapes bleed slowly out of the white. Stairs, railings, peeling walls. A frayed strip of carpet hanging loose from the edge of a step. The first clear thing you see is your own hand, still outstretched, still touching the creature. Your skin meets a surface that shouldn't exist, not soft, not hard, something in between, like pressing your palm into dense fog that's decided to remember what solidity feels like. The creature's limb trembles under your touch, not from rage, from effort. It is holding itself together this time. The cat sits pressed against its side, fur flattened along its spine, eyes narrowed in concentration. Every breath from the animal is slow, careful, as though it's lending the creature its own steadiness. You draw in air, chest tight but not breaking. The hallway looks different. The colors are still faded, the wallpaper still peeling, but it all feels less warped. The hall's length seems correct now. The doors line up evenly. The ceiling no longer leans at strange angles. The building has stopped distorting itself to match your fear. Behind you, stairs creak as your future self shifts their weight. You glance back. They look washed out in this new light, edges softer, like someone turned down their contrast. Lines in their face seem shallower, bruises lighter, scars less angry. Do you feel it? They ask quietly. You nod once. The panic that used to live under your sternum, that constant buzzing swarm, has thinned, not gone, but no longer running the show. It's letting go, they say. Or you are. Hard to tell the difference now. You look down at the creature. It stares back. Its face isn't yours, not exactly. The features keep trying to settle. Cheekbones shifting, jawline recalibrating, a nose half formed and then smooths back into shadow. But the expression is familiar. That stunned, hurt look you've seen in reflected glass after another night went wrong. The tightness around the mouth when a stranger tossed coins without meeting your eyes. The way your shoulders curled anytime someone said veteran with pity. You recognize yourself not in its shape, but in the way it waits, braced for rejection. Your hand stays where it is. You're not alone, you murmur. The creature shudders. The hollow eye shapes flicker, as if some inner light is trying to reach the surface. Your future self slowly descends 2 steps, coming closer, movement cautious, like they're approaching a wild animal they've both trained and failed. Careful, they say softly. You can't lie to it. It's built out of your truths. It'll know if you're just saying what you think it wants. Your jaw tightens. Your palm warms against the creature's limb. Under the strange texture, something beats, faint but steady. A heart, your own, given form outside your ribs. I mean it, you say. I won't leave you again. The creature makes a sound, not a word, more like a breath caught halfway between sob and relief. The walls around you groan, not in protest, more like a spine stretching after years hunched. Downstairs, the basement radio blares a short burst of static, then falls quiet, as if some frequency finally found its match. A door somewhere above swings open on its own, hinges squealing, air shifting through the stairwell. The loop loosens another knot. Your future self exhales through their nose, almost a laugh. You have no idea how many times we tried to shortcut this, they say. Thought maybe if we smashed the machine, burned the journal, never came back here, it would end. You look at them, and did it? Their gaze drifts to the creature, then back to you. You woke up in other places, they answer. Different alleys, different buildings, same weight, same voice in the static. There's no skipping the part where you accept what you've been running from. You swallow. Your throat tastes like metal and something clean, like the air after rain. Why do you look lighter? You ask. They glance down at their own hands, flexing their fingers. Because you're carrying more now, they say. I don't have to. You study them. The bruised eye has faded to a faint shadow. The deep lines bracketing their mouth have eased. Even their posture has changed. Less hunched, less like someone living in a constant flinch. The cat lifts a paw, touches the creature's limb once, then hops lightly up a few stairs and rubs itself along your shin. You almost lose your balance. Small weight, warm fur, a real solid thing. You reach down and scratch gently behind its ear. It leans into your touch without hesitation. The creature's head tilts. You realize suddenly that it's never seen you offer comfort to anything before. Not like this. The realization stings. You straighten. We're not done, your future self says. You touched it. You acknowledged it. That breaks the pattern. But you haven't chosen what happens after. You eye the creature. What choices do I have? They gesture around. Option 1, you stay. Live in this building forever. Keep it quiet. Keep it fed with small truths. Never step outside. You'd exist. You wouldn't live. Your stomach tightens. Option 2, you ask? They look up toward the floors above. Finish the loop, they say. Go back to where you ended it for yourself the first time. The garage, you murmur. They shake their head. No, that was the start. I'm talking about the moment you truly stopped. The last time someone tried to reach you and you didn't answer. You sift through dim images, hospital waiting rooms, streets blurring through bus windows, shelter cots lined like broken teeth. Then one memory pulls into sharp focus. A cheap cell phone, plastic cracked across the back. Unknown number. You staring at it in the dark behind a supermarket dumpster. You let it ring. Once, twice, 10 times. You didn't answer. You never called back. The phone died 2 weeks later. You never replaced it. Your heart contracts. Was that him, you ask? My father? Your future self shrugs lightly, but their eyes say enough. Maybe, they say. Maybe a nurse. Maybe someone he sent. Does it matter? You decided you didn't deserve whatever was on the other side of that ringtone. Heat prickles your eyes. So how do I fix something that's already done, you whisper. You don't, they say. You accept that you can't. You forgive the one who made the mistake. And then, they nod toward the creature, you bring this part of you out of here. Let it feel something other than repeating the worst day of your life. The idea hits like a physical blow. Out? You echo. You want me to walk out of this building with this? The creature flinches at the doubt in your voice, its form blurring at the edges. Your gut twists. Your future self lifts both hands, calming. Hey, it's not a curse you're carrying out. It's you. It doesn't stay this shape forever. It changes with you. Out there, away from these walls, with different choices, it can remember being more than fear. And you ask? What happens to you? They let out a slow breath. That depends, they say, on whether there's still a version of me stuck in here when you leave. A quiet settles. You realize something? You've been hearing the building breathe this whole time. Tiny shifts in wood, soft groans in pipes, faint electrical sighs. Now those sounds begin to fade. The place is falling asleep, not in a predatory way, in a relieved way. You squeeze the creature's limb gently. It squeezes back, not hard enough to hurt, just enough to say, "I'm here." You edge past it, descend the remaining stairs. As your feet touch the hall floor, you feel the building's weight change around you, like stepping off a boat onto solid dock. The creature moves with you, body folding and shrinking as it leaves the stairs' shadow. By the time it stands beside you in the corridor, it's smaller. Still taller than the cat, still wrong in places, but closer to human height. Less distortion, more outline. You pick up the cassette player from where it landed earlier. The tape has reached its end. The machine sits silent, spooled out ribbon holding your voice like a pressed leaf. You thumb the stop button. Your future self descends the last steps, joining you at the hallway's center. For the first time, you stand side by side, eye level. They look tired, but not hollow. Basement first, they say. Finish the conversation you started with the radio. Then you decide which door you walk out of. You nod once. The cat pads ahead, tail flagging like a guide marker, leading you toward the basement door. The creature follows close, limbs less shaky now, matching your pace like a shadow that finally found its source. You pause at the door. The wood is splintered where the creature forced itself through earlier, but the splinters no longer writhe with shadow, just broken timber. You push the door open. The basement smell washes over you, damp concrete, metal, and that fading sweetness of old fear. You descend. The radio sits on its table, red dial, dim but steady. The portable cassette deck still rests nearby. The mirror in the corner reflects the three of you, the creature, and the future self. In the glass, the creature looks more human than outside it, edges softened, face less warped. You swallow. Your reflection meets your eyes. For once, you don't look away. "Okay," you murmur. "Let's see what's left." You turn the radio's dial. Static whispers, then thins, then clears. For a moment, there's nothing. Then a voice filters through, not the warped future version, not the creature. This voice is older, weaker, gravel threaded with warmth. "If you ever pick this up, kid," it says, "I hope you know none of it was your fault." Your spine goes rigid. The creature presses closer to you, limb brushing your arm. "I froze," the voice continues on the broadcast. "That storm, I was the one who told you to stay. I should have told you what to do." I should have been better. If you ran, you were just doing what scared kids do. The air in the basement thickens, then lightens like dust deciding whether to rise or settle. The voice coughs. "Been leaving these messages for years," it says, a rueful chuckle in the tone. "On every frequency I can find, like a fool talking to ghosts. They told me you were gone. I hoped they were wrong. I hoped you'd be alive somewhere. Even if I never saw you again, I wanted you to hear one thing." Your eyes sting. The creature leans into you with the hesitant pressure of someone asking for permission to stay. The radio crackles. The next words land like a hand on your shoulder in a life that never happened. "I'm sorry I didn't find you," your father's voice says. "I'm proud you survived. And if you're carrying this like a weight, put it down, son. I don't want you trapped in that night forever." The dial glows once, pulsing brighter, then softens. The broadcast dissolves back into static. You stand there, staring at the radio, lungs full of air that feels too big for your chest. Your future self doesn't speak. Neither does the cat. The creature turns its head toward you slowly, face flickering through half-formed expressions. Fear, hope, shock, longing. It tentatively reaches up with one limb. You expect claws, or cold, or the choking grip from earlier loops. Instead, it presses its palm, if you can call it that, flat against your chest, right over your heart. Your eyes close. Heat spreads under your ribs, radiating outward, washing up into your throat. You don't swallow it down this time. Your shoulders shake. A sound leaves you, raw, low, neither word nor sentence. A sob finally allowed to exist. The creature shudders in sync, same sound, same breaking. Years of fear dislodged, not all at once, but enough. You gasp, then laugh, then choke on the spiteful little voice that used to say you don't deserve this, and feel it dim. Your future self wipes the back of their hand across one cheek. "Well," they say hoarsely, "that's new." You open your eyes. They look less like a separate person now, more like a faint double exposure, a ghost layered over your outline. "Is that it, you ask?" Voice rough. "Is the loot done?" They look around the basement, at the radio, at the mirror, at the creature pressed against you, at the cat curled by the lowest stair. "I think," they say slowly, "the loop is breaking. Whether it's done depends on what you do next." You exhale. "So what now?" you ask. They nod toward the stairs. "You walk out of here," they say. "Take this part of you with you." Maybe find out if that voice is still out there in some form, or maybe just start answering calls again, even if they're from yourself. You look at the creature. Its form is smaller now, more compact, less looming. It reminds you of a person wearing a coat too big for them but growing into it. Will it always look like this, you ask? For a while, your future self replies. Until you give it new shapes to copy. The cat hops lightly onto the table, nudges the radio with its head, then meets your gaze. You get the sense that whatever happens outside, you won't be walking alone. You turn to your future self. They're already fading at the edges, color draining out, lines thinning. "Hey," you say. "What happens to you if I go?" They smile, and this time there's something like peace in it. "I was never supposed to stay," they say. "I'm just what happens when you replay the same regret so many times it thinks it's a person." You step toward them. They back up, holding up a palm. "Don't," they say gently. "If you touch me, I might stick around. You don't need me anymore." "You have you." Your throat tightens in a different way now. "Thank you," you manage. They shrug. "Thank yourself," they say. "I'm just your persistence wearing last year's bruises." The basement light flickers once, twice. On the wall beside the mirror, a crack closes on its own, plaster knitting back together like skin healing. Your future self looks up, listening. "That's my cue," they murmur. They look at you one last time. "Do something good with it," they say. The second chance, the street knowledge, the way you can hear broken things in people because you were one. Don't waste it hiding. You nod, jaw set. They step backward. Light swallows their outline. Not violently, not with drama. They simply thin out. Then they're gone. The basement feels bigger, quiet. You stand there with your hand on the creature's shoulder and the cat weaving figure eights around your ankles. Your heart bangs against your ribs, but not from panic, from possibility. Upstairs, somewhere in the building, a front door creaks open to the night. An exit. You look at the creature. It looks at you. "Let's go," you say. It nods. Telling about number of Corte. PATT. I have mended and 1WS. PATT. 9 complet mine Corte T. Word count. 1WS 640. Running total E5000 2000. Emotional peak. Hearing your father's apology and pride over the radio. Recognizing the creature as your abandoned younger self. Choosing to leave with it rather than destroy or abandon it. Cliffhanger. The future self dissolves. The building opens an exit. You prepare to walk out into the world with your once monster now at your side. The stairwell feels different now. Not safer, but honest. For the first time since you stepped inside this building, the air does not press against your lungs, does not twist itself into shapes meant to frighten you. The walls no longer lean inward like a mouth preparing to swallow. The building has stopped trying to hold you. You stand at the base of the stairs, the creature beside you, smaller now, more stable, its surface shifting faintly as though remembering how to exist. The cat sits behind it, tail curled neatly around paws, watching you with a calm that doesn't belong in a place built from fear. You inhale. Dust and damp concrete still sting your nose, but the breath feels deeper, cleaner. The creature mirrors it, a slow expansion of its chest, a subtle tremor in the place where ribs might be forming. "Come on," you whisper. Your words warm the air between you. You start up the stairs. The creature hesitates. Its outline flickers like a film frame slipping, but then it lifts a limb and follows. Each step you take seems to close something behind you. The weight of old memories, the pressure of unfinished grief, the tightness that once sat in your throat like a lodged stone. Your legs ache as you climb. Not from fear, from exhaustion. An exhaustion that feels earned. The cat trots behind you both, light paws barely whispering against each step. Halfway up, you pause. The hallway is brighter, not glowing, simply lit like any hallway should be. The bulb overhead hums softly, steady and warm. 4B's door is shut. The red glow beneath it is gone. Just darkness now, peaceful darkness. You climb the final flight. At the top, the front door stands open. Cold night air pours in, smelling of rain-soaked pavement, distant exhaust, and the faint, earthy scent of a city sleeping uneasily. The world outside is not perfect. You know that. But it is real, and for the first time in longer than you can measure, you feel real enough to meet it. The creature stops 2 steps behind you, as if waiting for permission. Its form wavers, edges blurring into shadow, then hardening again into a shape not quite human, but no longer monstrous. It dips its head almost a bow, as if asking, "Am I allowed to follow you? Am I allowed to exist?" You extend your hand. It lifts its limb, carefully, delicately, and places it in yours, warm, steady, present. A connection that used to feel like fear now feels like possibility. The cat brushes past your leg and slips through the open door first, tail raised proudly as though announcing the procession. You take one step toward the threshold, then another. The city is quiet, storefronts locked, street lamps flickering through the mist. A distant siren hums, lonely but not threatening. You step out. The creature follows. The moment its foot crosses the doorway, something shifts. A soft wind draws upward, lifting dust from the entryway like the building exhaling one last time. You turn back. Inside, the hallway dims, colors draining gently. The shape of the building seems to soften, losing edges, losing weight, becoming something half-remembered, not collapsing, letting go. A faint echo rises from deep inside, your father's voice, or the memory of it, warm, rough, steady. "Take care of yourself, kid." The creature shivers beside you, not in fear, in recognition. Your throat tightens, but not with guilt this time, with gratitude. You nod toward the building, a quiet farewell. No anger, no dread, no shame, just acknowledgement. The building has been your prison, your punishment, your memory, your mirror, and now it's done its job. You turn away. The creature steps beside you, shadow rising taller for a moment before shrinking again into a shape closer to your own. It stands upright now, awkward, unsteady, but trying. The cat weaves between your ankles, then trots ahead, guiding you toward the street like it always meant to escort you out of this night. You walk, your shoes slap lightly against wet pavement. Cold air settles against your face like a hand cooling a fever. Every sound is sharp, honest, unwarped by fear. The creature's steps echo behind you, soft, uneven, like someone learning to walk for the first time. You look over your shoulder, its eyes, no longer hollow shapes, gleam faintly, reflecting the dim streetlights. Not your eyes, not yet, but capable of becoming something more. "We'll figure it out," you say softly. Its head tilts, curious, hopeful. You continue walking. The cat stops at the end of the block, glances back, then turns left sharply, tail flicking. You follow! As you step under the next street lamp, your shadow stretches long beside the creature's. For the first time, its shadow matches yours in height, then a little taller, then back to the same. It is changing with you, learning from you, following your lead. At the next crosswalk, the city hum deepens, night buses sighing at stops, a distant radio playing from a taxi, raindrops gathering on rusted awnings. Life, messy, real, unpredictable. You step forward into the crosswalk, creature beside you, cat trotting ahead. None of you look back. The building finally releases its last breath, a faint rumble carried on the wind, and then settles into silence. Not ominous, not hungry, just done. The loop breaks with your footsteps, with your voice, with your choice, and as you walk deeper into the city, your hand brushes the creature's again. It squeezes, carefully, slowly, not asking for forgiveness anymore, just offering companionship. You let your fingers rest against its, and somewhere inside your chest, where there used to be a storm, a small, quiet light begins to grow. Not bright, not blazing, just warm, enough to walk by, enough to live with, enough to start again.